Shabbat Shalom, boys. It's the Sabbath. Well, it's the right before the Sabbath. Shabbat is the Sabbath. Shalom means peace. It's a common Jewish greeting. And so I was reading about. I was in First Samuel, and or Shaul, and I was reading about David. And I read this story, and basically there was a character named Naval, and his wife was named Avaigail, and David and his men had protected and taken care of Naval's men. And then David sent somebody to Naval and said, "Hey, listen, we're hungry, and we helped you out. We would like you to help us out." And Naval was like, "No." And David said to his men, "Buckle your swords." Like he was going to go kill them all. And Naval and all his men and his wife Avaigail came and with some food and provisions, and said, "Look, my husband is a jerk, and I'm sorry." And David said, "Okay, we won't kill them all." But then Naval ended up having a stroke, and then he died like 10 days later. And David took his wife Avaigail as his own wife and took care of her. And during this time, Samuel took the daughter that was David's wife, Michal, and gave it to another man, Palti, from Gilom. But what I thought was interesting about this story was that, I'd always thought, well, we always wait on God to take care of our enemies. And, David had a chance to kill Samuel at one point in the cave. And he didn't, because he let God handle it. And, but, at this here, he was going to handle it himself with, what was this guy's name? Naval. But then, I guess, even though he didn't handle it, God still took care of it. So maybe, the moral of the story is, we let God fight our battles. If we have enemies out there, God takes care of them. So I thought that was interesting. And then he also gave his wife, he didn't really like her anyway. She made fun of him for dancing naked before God when the ark came back. Okay, so back to Iraq. And I wanted to make a correction. Now, it was Private Lower and PFC Dickens. I mean, they're both privates. It's not a big deal. But one thing I wanted to mention too was that while we were over there, we were isolated in this small tent, and it was hot too, and it would get cold at night and hot in the day. But anyway, the Marines had brought a generator and they took it with them, so we didn't have any power. And my unit was underneath the Mississippi Biloxi Brigade 155, I think it was. It was a National Guard unit, and they were underneath the 1st Marine Division. So we didn't actually get a lot of support financially from anybody. And so we were out of generator, and well, I don't know, we came up with a generator, and somebody helped us out with that. But I could not get it to work, and I've tinkered with oh yeah, that reminds me, the boat leak. I may be closer to finding where the leak is coming from. I think it's coming from the stern, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it was hot, and I could not figure out how to get this generator to work. And after the war, and this now was the third year into it. We displaced, there was no more infrastructure in Iraq. So if you were a lawyer, you weren't a lawyer anymore. If you were a banker, you weren't a banker. There was nothing left. We pretty much pummeled that whole country. And sometimes what these educated men, what they would do is they would come and get jobs with the United States. There was anyway, I couldn't get this generator to work. I found this electrical engineer, and I brought him to the generator, and he kind of looked at it. And he looked at it, and he grabbed a piece of foil. He said, "Do you have a piece of foil?" I said, "Yeah, here you go." He folds it up, and he sticks it in there, and flicked the switch, and it turned right on. And there was a fuse that had blown out. And he stuck a piece of tinfoil in there, and that fixed it. And I was so grateful. And I guess that's all that's going to be it for today. And I love you boys, and I think about you and proud of you, and hope you're doing well.